This week on Supercars Talk, Chris Pither is out of a seat next year, James Courtney gets a spare car for Surfers Paradise, and there's talk about the Bathurst co-driver rules. The big news this week, Chris Pither does not have a full-time drive for next year. Shock horror. It's not a surprise. It's pretty widely known. I suppose it hasn't been announced, but Tim Slade and James Goulding will be the drivers at Premiere next year. James Courtney will be using a spare car, I suppose, for Surfers Paradise and Adelaide now. That's obviously because his car was the one Goddard was driving in the big accident at Bathurst. Funnily enough, though, the spare car that he will be using is the one that Randall stalled at the bend that got ploughed in by Andre Heimgartner, so it has a bit of history crashing. The Groves and Brad Jones Racing will be rebuilding their cars that were damaged in that incident at Bathurst. They'll be ready for Surfers Paradise. Now at Bathurst, the special livery curse continues, but it was pointed out to me that Mark Winterbottom did end up winning a couple of races in Bahrain in that special Cobra livery that FPR ran. I think it was about 2006 they ran that. He did win a couple of races, so there has actually been a race win for a special livery, but definitely not one at Bathurst. I'm just wondering though, have I missed any of the other special livery wins out there over special rounds? Obviously, you know, Shane Van Gisbergen had those the Kiwi Fern highlights at Pukekohe this year, but yeah, that's only a bit of a tweak. A genuine, like, you know, really differently changed livery for a special occasion or something like that. Has there been any, you know, normal round ones that I have missed along the way? So the big talking point of this week has obviously been those co-drivers starting the race at Bathurst and what we should do about it. Should we change some rules? A lot of people saying that the main drivers should be paired up again. I will be doing a special video on that later on this week, so keep an eye out for that. But then a lot of people are saying, like, you know, the co-drivers shouldn't be starting the race, it should be the main drivers, things like that. Roland Dane came out and said, you know, we shouldn't be, if under special circumstances, they should be starting under safety car and it should be the full-time drivers and all this kind of stuff. He's a team, essentially, he's still a team owner. If you were that concerned about that, why did you start your co-drivers? Obviously, Triple Eight's in a bit of a different position, having, you know, Shane Van the joke there. Actually, that joke from last week was definitely missed. It was a joke that Shane Van Gisbergen was Garth Tander's co-driver. But if you've got like Garth Tander and Jamie Whincup, having said that though, Jamie was the one who caused that incident on the first lap. Even though Scaife said how amazing he was to avoid all of the carnage in it, he was the one who caused that. So not so amazing from that point. But if the teams are that concerned, they can put the full-time drivers in at the start. Why do we need a rule on it? The teams are the one who is complaining about this. I don't understand that one. As I said, keep an eye out for that the special video I'm going to do on the main drivers pairing up later this week. And I'd also like to point out, okay, so basically everyone started their co-drivers. The only main game drivers that did start the race were Pither, Slade, Jake Kostecki, Winterbottom, LeBrock, Golding and Holdsworth. Now, Jake Kostecki, he was involved in that first lap crash as well, and Frosty he ploughed into the back of trying to think, Tyler Everingham was driving the team car at that time. So, you know, two of the main game drivers that did start were involved in first lap incidents. And for everyone saying that, you know, you've got to start the co-drivers because, you know, it's unfair and you're not going to get a result if you start the main game driver, didn't hurt Lee Holdsworth and Max Payne. They ran fine throughout the day, and Lee Holdsworth started the race. It didn't affect them. It was very smart to not have Matt starting where there was all that pressure. Didn't affect them, so why should anyone else have been that concerned about it? The way the race is these days, the co-drivers some are better than others, but there's no dickheads out there kind of thing. They all are a very high quality, even though you do get some incidents like the Zane Goddard one. yeah, we don't need a rule for it. The teams, if they're that concerned, they should be starting the main drivers. And just on a side note, to all the people suggesting that we should have asphalt, big asphalt runoff area there at the Chase, just go to hell, please. Please don't put... There's a reason that corner is so spectacular, because there are consequences if you make a mistake. If it's a big asphalt runoff area, no one will care. Everyone will just blaze in there at full pace and just off they go. We need consequences, these corners. We don't want to see people get hurt, those kind of consequences, but the chance that your car is going to be buried or you do lose time if you run off. So that's it for this week. Down in the comments, let me know if you agree or disagree. Do you want to see all the main drivers starting the race, or do you want to see the main guys pairing up together? I will have a special video on that later on in the week, so keep an eye out for that. But until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.